This guy is weird in a bad way.
If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, we actually had more people.
Weird in a creepy way.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Weird in a dangerous way.
In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
Just weird.
Don't you find some of their stuff to just be plain weird?
99% of the things I'm saying are common sense.
Too weird to be president.
These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, everybody knows that Donald Trump has always been a, extreme weirdo. But now that he has undeniable evidence that the majority of people absolutely despise him and that he's almost certainly going to lose this election, it's just going up notches that we've never seen before.
So she's either not the smartest light in the ceiling.
And then there is this, a photo of Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. The caption, which I'm not going to read out, is demeaning of both women and contains a vulgar reference to oral sex acts. Now remember, again, this is the Republican candidate for president and the 45th president of the United States talking about two women who, no matter what you think of their politics, are two of the most accomplished women in American political history. This is what he chose to amplify.
What a beautiful young daughter. What a beautiful young daughter. And in 6 states, you're allowed to kill the baby after the baby is born. And you know, one of those states is Minnesota, where this tampon Tim comes from. But she said one thing that got me. She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. So I decided to go back and reread the clause. I'm not saying he's, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better. Much better. I'm a better looking person than Kamala. No, I couldn't believe it. She said, I had never heard that one. They said, no, her biggest advantage is that she's a beautiful woman. I'm going, I never thought of that. I'm better looking than she is.
Yeah, $1,000 bill, $5, 11, here, 11. Yeah, 10 here, 11, 11. Get that satisfied look off your face. You're out.
I don't want to be mean. Liars, cheaters, thugs, perverts, rat-infested, graffiti-infested, frauds, crooks, freaks, creeps, radical left, bad people, lunatics. Just a system of high-energy steam. I'd like it to be a little bit warmer. Guys go like, I have Indian blood. I just had bacon this morning. I think the fact that I'm leading in the polls is what's keeping the stock market up. It was the best bacon I've ever had. I only talk about polls if they're good for me. I never talk about them if they're bad. There was no fat in it. Even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it. If you're just so sick you can't, darling, I don't think, get up. We don't want to catch disease from people that sadly are not feeling so great. Take me in, oh tender woman. Go home to mommy. Your mommy's waiting. They talk about slates. I had nothing to do with slates, but patriots had to do with slates. If I had a broken leg, I wouldn't be wearing Bermuda shorts during an interview. Thomas Jefferson did slates. They've been slates all over, and he walks around the ring lifting a 300-pound guy over his shoulders like this. Do you think this is fun? Actually, do you think it's fun? It's not fun, but we're getting our point across. Russia, 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 Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Don't you love this guy?
Like, the second that Joe Biden dropped out of the race, whatever brain cells he had functioning in his head, whatever neurons he still had firing, they're just completely malfunctioned now. I mean, this dude, he'll just randomly go up. If you look at the Martin Luther King speech, we actually had more people. Our crowd sizes were bigger. He cannot stop bragging about the reversal of Roe v. Wade. And then he'll try to backtrack it. But then the very next day or the next hour, he'll be like, we reversed Roe v. Wade. People have wanted it for 52 years. It's what everybody wanted. We sent it back to the states. Like, no, actually, there's undeniable evidence that most people did not want that. And now that it's actually happened and all these Republican states are, passing these 6-week bans, Republican voters don't even want this either. I mean, this guy, Kamala has 19 ways to say her name. Nobody knows who Kamala Harris is. You ask somebody on the street, do you know Harris? They don't know who the hell Harris is. Like, dude, what are you talking about?
The American dream is dead. They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. I see the disinfectant by injection inside, almost a cleaning. As you take a shower, the water doesn't come out. So what do? You just stand there longer, or you take a shower longer? Because my hair, I don't know about you, but it has to be perfect. There's nobody that understands the horror of nuclear better than me. I'm a very stable genius.
Hold still, Donnie.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Well, we do.
Bing, 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 bing,
Rudy G.
Of course, the Lincoln Project and anybody else that are concerned with facts about the ridiculousness that we hear spewed by Donald Trump, not just on campaign trails, but in interviews and anytime he's basically talking, can be used against him.
Here, too, the record speaks for itself.
One of the great memories of all time, James Webb. I don't remember the names. Don't remember the name. Viktor Orban. Did anyone ever hear of him? He's the leader of Turkey. By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley is in charge of security. 3 years later, how about that?
Did you actually have a one-on-one with Comey then?
Not much, not even that I remember. I like mosquitoes. We have languages coming into our country. We have nobody that even speaks those languages. They're truly foreign languages. Nobody speaks them. I have a really good memory.
Your next wife was a woman by the name of Marla Maples?
That's right.
Do you recall what years you were married to Ms. Maples?
It's called like Up Here, and it's called Memory, and it's called other things.
So you don't remember saying you have one of the best memories?
I don't remember that. And Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word. You heard that, nuclear. We have to win in November, or we're not going to have Pennsylvania. They'll change the name. I talked to Putin a lot.
Did you ask him that?
I don't remember that. I saw that this morning. I don't remember asking him that question. I have a good memory and all that stuff, like a great memory. For 20 years, they were fighting ISIS. I defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won. I'm not cognitively. And you know what? When I am, you're going to know it. You're going to be the first people. I know my people. You'll say, all right, Trump, you did a good job. Get the hell out of here. That's it.
That is a man who is incapable of avoiding criminal liability, a man who is wholly unfit for office, and a man who, at the very least, ought to think twice before accusing others of cognitive decline.
The problem is the people that support Donald Trump are not concerned with facts or the stupidity or the outlandish lies that he tells, because he makes comfortable for them their whiteness, their ability to play victim, their ability to be reminded that America once stood for them and them alone, and that is what they're seeking, a return to America when she was only for white people.
Just keep it flying.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. You're pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
All right. Well, there you have it. No comment on the if you're in favor of slavery or not.
Candace Owens said the Civil Rights Bill was the worst thing to happen because it didn't give you the incentive to work. And 67% or something to that effect had whole families. Now it's only like 25%.
Of who?
Of the black race. But they don't give them an incentive to work. And I know absolute power corrupts absolute. They want power. They want power. They want you to tell you what to drive, tell you what to eat, tell you what to do. And you got to do, in freedom, absolute freedom, you got to have responsibility to get up. I've been working since I was about this high on the farm. I told a young gal one day, there's a few things I try not to do. I try not to rape, murder, steal, lie, cheat. And I said, you know why? Because it's wrong. Get off your and get a job. Pardon my French. Did you get that? But I don't know. I've been, like I said, I don't know whether I told you this, but my mother weaned me off her breast one day on the farm. Then I think about the next day, my dad told me to get my ass out and get to work. I know Donald Trump's not perfect. Neither was King David in the Bible. I told people at my church that I think that he was our new King David, because he wasn't perfect. He slept with a married woman and had sex with her. I don't think he slept with a prostitute or a porn star, but I don't name me one person that's perfect, and I'll write his name down to remember it. You know?
And it's obvious. They scream about the border until a conservative senator gives them the most conservative immigration policy ever. Trump says don't do it. They don't move on it. Actually, they all turn their back, not just on the immigration policy, but on that conservative senator. They pretend they care about terrorists and they want to defund the FBI. They pretend they care about the fentanyl crisis, but won't act on the border, this immigration bill. This continues on and on. Every policy you think about, the Republicans have stepped on their face, their own face. They claim Democrats are persecuting Donald Trump, yet and still everybody that's testifying against Donald Trump are Republicans. There's no witch hunt. It's just a witch, and his name is Donald Trump. And he has a cult, and they're called MAGA, and also Republicans. And this country is not good for it. We are worse off because of Donald Trump. The day he came on that escalator, he forever changed our politics for the worse. Democracy is once again downgraded by this person being named the Republican nominee for president in 2024. It also shows and reminds us how fragile this idea of patriotism and democracy really is. When a group of people, a large group of people like the Republican Party, is willing to stand by Donald Trump with his 91 charges, indictments, and in some cases already found liable for crimes as much as rape, and he has unwavering support, then we see the erosion of democracy and what it's supposed to mean to hold the office of president of the United States of America.